Down by the riverside? No. Yeah, I'm going to lay down my sword and shield, and then speak with Graves Flight.
That's why she's practicing Hamilton. Okay, all right.
You never know what you're going to get into Soapbox.
I have been practicing. I'm pretty good at keeping things under 2 minutes. I've spoken to school boards and things like that before.
Did you sign up?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Did you get the top first 10?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
So there were already 10 people, but one of them put the name down under the line 10. So I was like, line 10's still open.
Maybe they were.
I don't know. Maybe maybe they're being polite. I'm not being polite. I want to talk about this.
I think it's coming to me. How many
Saying is there. So it's going to be you, not me.
Correct.
Is she going to be here?
Yes.
Okay.
She's distinctly
You're doing
keyboard for
I usually just sit on that side because that's where I sit. I usually have the also down here.
right.
Give me my purse.
in fact, I'm going to go ahead
Barbara,
and start.
give me my purse down here.
Welcome to First Unitarian Church of Orlando. I'm Elizabeth Horn, member of the worship team executives. With me in today's service are Reverend Margalie Belizaire, DLRE Judith Stein-Farrall, as well as our music director, Aubrey Connelly-Candelario, and our accompanist, Daniela Manzan-Villegas. And of course, all of our soapboxers today, whoever they may be. Thank you in advance for your participation. And a loving thank you to all of the behind-the-scenes teams that are supporting worship this week. Children and older youth are staying with us in the service this morning, and the nursery is open until noon. We greet you this morning, old friends and new ones, as we explore our Unitarian Universalist faith, which draws us into a community of justice seekers with a commitment to lifelong spiritual growth and compassionate service to the community. As a Unitarian Universalist congregation, we are a non-creedal community that does not subscribe to a specific set of beliefs. We live by a covenant that encourages ethical behavior, affirms democracy, celebrates the worth of each individual, and unites us in a search for truth in meaning. Whether today is your first or your 1000th Sunday in our midst, you are welcome here. Whoever you are, whoever you love, you are welcome here. In this community, your whole self is welcome. We welcome your race, national origin, gender, sexual orientation, age, physical or mental abilities, economic status, or religious background. We welcome you. For more information about our congregation and announcements, go to orlandouu.org or email info@orlandouu.org. We have two announcements. On behalf of the worship committee, first, thank you to everyone who attended the worship hive mind last week to discuss and brainstorm about our upcoming worship themes. Now, we are seeking participants for a new role we're calling worship attendants starting in September. Worship attendants will read announcements like this one, will assist with candle lighting, and engage in other scripted, low-stakes tasks. Participate as a worship attendant based on your availability and level of interest. No lengthy meetings, no training, no rehearsal required. If this feels like a good fit for you, please see information in the weekly update, or you can find me after the service to learn more. From Religious Enrichment, there is a parents' informational meeting about the program year from 12 to 12:30-ish in the assembly room. Childcare will be provided during that time. All other announcements are on slides before and after the service and have links in the weekly update or on our website. And if you'd like to follow along with the service, please use the QR code shown on the monitor. Maybe. Okay, we'll get there. All right, thank you again for being here in person and online today.
There you go. And now, please join me as we light the chalice. There will be some words for you shortly. Okay. And the light, well, yes, I know most of you know them. In the light of truth and in the warmth of love, we gather to seek, to sustain, and to share. Oh yes, of course, and please join me in our opening hymn, number 162. Gonna lay down my sword and shield. Oh.
But that is the last hymn. I'm wondering if you're able to pull up, or should we switch order?
Yeah. We do have these things called hymnals we need to use.
That is true. Please pull out your hymnals. Number 162. All right.
We will just do the first two verses. We won't do the third verse of shake hands.
Rise in body or spirit. 162.
Judith Stein-Farrall, and today, the 25th day of August, in the Gregorian calendar year, 2024 CE, the congregation of First Unitarian Church of Orlando is called again to gather together for worship. As we approach our Labor Day and encourage the speaking truth to power way, the leadership invites thee. This leadership invites thee to say what is on thy mind. Do I get them? Okay. 2 minutes thee may speak, and there will be no irreverent squeak. Instead, listening as the speakers seek the right of conscience that is theirs to share. It is a gift, our UU learning, to encourage our responsible search for meaning. It is a gift, our UU leaning to encourage our responsible search for truth and meaning, and our freedom to voice our learning with a shared pulpit right at hand. And so, again, I call you all to participate in and witness these humble opinions of worthy folk. But before we invite you up for these opportunities, we invite you to do two things. First, welcome and greeting of one another, and then with the clang and the bells, we will move forward to a blessing of the backpacks, and then finally into our soapbox adventure together. Going forward, Old English, such as it is, not required. Please greet one another. So that's that thing. Okay, no, you go first. Oh, I changed the language. Are we working off two different scripts? Yeah. Yeah. So I know this. I thought I took that out of there, that top part.
Okay, I'll start here.
Okay, I'm sorry. This was, I apologize.
Today, we invite you all to take part in a ritual that happens this time of year in Unitarian Universalist congregations all over the country. We call it the blessing of the backpacks because so many of you carry backpacks filled with the items necessary to help you through your day. With this blessing, you will receive a backpack tag.
There should be a picture of one somewhere.
Basically, a keychain that you can attach to your bag or somewhere else. This year it reads, "You are so loved."
So I invite all our kids who are in school to come up and gather around us. Reverend Margalie in particular. Come.
Wonderful.
Come on, gather. And now I invite the college students among us and grad students among us to come up and join us, and all students of all types this year. And now I invite the educators or school professionals or RE teachers to come up and join us. And I invite those starting other new endeavors this year. Are you going to do that for me? Oh, okay. Oh, good. Okay. To come up and move forward to join us for this blessing. And after the blessing, you're gonna, from Reverend Margalie, you're gonna walk by me and back up along the wall here, the window wall, and receive your backpack tag.
So if you are, the last thing Judith mentioned, if you are starting something new, you're in transition, we invite you to come up as well. So, whoops, all of you who are here, we ask you to open your hand. Thank you. Like so, to receive the blessing. And all of you who are not up here, if you would show them your hands like this so that you are sending this blessing. We are all sending this blessing to all of the little children and all of the others who are in school and the teachers who will be teaching them and others who are starting something new. As you begin this new school year, and for others who are at the threshold of something new, may your backpack or bag that you use to carry the things such as your supplies and books, may it carry with it the love and support of this community, surrounding you with care in every moment, surrounding you with love. When you feel the weight of new challenges, yes, kids, like that math problem, when you feel the weight of new challenges, may you also feel the strength within you to meet them. With this backpack tag, remember that you are loved by your family, friends, this community. May it be a reminder that you are never alone and that you carry light and love wherever you go. So, go forth in curiosity, kindness, and courage. Be blessed. May we all be so blessed. So, if you would head over in the direction of Judith and pick up a backpack tag. Welcome to our annual Soapbox service at 1U. Today we gather in the spirit of open dialogue and community, celebrating a tradition rooted in the act of standing up, literally or figuratively, to speak what's on our mind. Historically, a soapbox was just that, a wooden crate repurposed for those who wanted to make impromptu speeches on public streets. The idea was simple: elevate yourself, share your thoughts, and invite the world to listen. I read somewhere that if you used a fruit box, you may raise some eyebrows. So we're gonna pretend this here, that this here is a soapbox, okay? And we are here to celebrate the courage it takes to come up and speak no matter the subject. Today, we'll come together to bless our students, as we said earlier. Oops. Okay. We came together, we celebrated our students and all those embarking on new endeavors this season, offering them the blessing. So, what ideas are bubbling up for you? Is it something big, like the state of public transportation, or whether we should stop using pennies? Or perhaps it's something small but mighty, like your undying love for ice cream, or the question of whether we really need more throw blankets in our lives. Whatever it is, be it pop culture debates like Ted Lasso, or Welcome to Vextrum, or, thank you, or the sheer joy of having a new puppy, this is your moment to share. Remember, while we can't endorse political candidates from the pulpit, we can absolutely engage in meaningful conversations about the ideas and ideals that shape our world. As we begin, let's keep our UU values close to our hearts. That is respect for every individual, the right of conscience, and the pursuit of truth and justice. This is a space for open, respectful dialogue. So, we invite you to step up. The rules are simple. You'll have 2 minutes to talk. We even have a helper there who will be counting. You know, we have an hourglass, and we'll be flipping it back and forth. Now, if you insist on speaking for more than a minute, Aubrey over there will remind you that your time is up. Okay, so you know the rules, and in our and you should have signed up outside, so we have a sheet. We'll be calling you up, and our first soapboxer is Jeannie Carter. Nope. That was. Know that if you do not wish to use the soap box, you don't have to.
Yes? Okay, good. Okay, that's better. I'm Jeannie, and my rant is about names. I'm sure you agree we should call trans and non-binary people by their preferred names and pronouns. And if someone has an unusual name, we should learn to pronounce it correctly. Really, everyone deserves the respect of getting their name right. Sadly, some people think they should decide what other people should be called. For example, they assume everyone named Deborah wants to be called Debbie, and everyone named Michael wants to be called Mike, without asking the person. And if an adult man says his name is Billy, or Bobby, or Johnny, they assume that's a childhood nickname, and he couldn't possibly want to be called that now, even if that's how he introduces himself. This is personal because people get my name wrong all the time. If you want to know what people want to be called, listen to how they introduce themselves and read what they write on their name tags. When people tell you their name, please believe them. And if you're not sure, ask. Thank you.
Great example, Secretary on the Board of Trustees. We invite you now into the practice of generosity. It is one of our spiritual values which sustains the life and ministries of the church community. Let us be grateful for the opportunity to give, for it is a privilege to be able to do so. And let us be grateful for our needs, for they give us the opportunity to practice receiving. Today's full collection will go to the ministries of this congregation. Our Share the Plate recipient for the month of August is Shepherd's Hope. Shepherd's Hope is a nonprofit organization of primarily volunteers that exists to provide access to health care for uninsured patients. With more than 2,700 volunteers, including doctors, nurses, PAs, clerical staff, and other willing helpers, literally thousands of patient visits are provided each year at no cost for the patient at all. Please use the link in the newsletter or on the screen to donate directly to them. Please let one you know that you donated. The offering will now be collected. Note that you can also give online using the link.
Away my shot. I am not throwing away my shot. Hey yo, I'm just like my country. I'm young, scrappy, and hungry, and I'm not throwing away my shot. I am at a scholarship to King's College. I probably shouldn't brag, boy, I'm amazed and astonished. The problem is I got a lot of brains but no polish. I gotta holler just to be heard. With every word I drop knowledge, I'm a diamond in the rough, a shiny piece of gold, trying to reach my goal. My power of speech, unimpeachable. The plan is to fan this spark into a flame, but man is dead and dark, so let me spell out the name. I am the A-L-E-X-A-N-D-E-R. We are meant to be a colony that runs independently, so there will be a revolution in the century. And I am not throwing away my shot. I'm not throwing away my shot. Ayo, I'm just like my country. I'm young, scrappy, and hungry, and I'm not throwing away my shot. I am not throwing away my shot. I'm not throwing away my shot. Ayo, I'm just like my country. I'm young, scrappy, and hungry, and I'm not throwing away my shot. Everybody sing, whoa, oh, oh, whoa, whoa, yeah, whoa, oh, oh, whoa. When you're living on your knees, you rise up. Tell your brother that he's gotta rise up. Tell your sister that she's gotta rise up. When are these colonies gonna rise up? When you're living on your knees, you rise up. Tell your brother that he's gotta rise up. Tell your sister that she's gotta rise up. Rise up, rise up, rise up. Time to take a shot. Rise up, rise up. Time to take a shot. Time to take a shot. Time to take a shot. And I am not throwing away my shot.
Let us joyfully receive what is offered here today in the spirit of gratitude and fellowship.
Yes. All right, don't throw away your shot, you heard. So, and our next speaker, and I forgot to mention that Jeannie was going to talk about names, is Nolan Horn, who's going to talk to us about cars. I'm still putting the timer on, Nolan.
Hi. because they're really fun.
What do you like? Do you play with cars?
I like the Switch. I don't like to only use one. I like to use like a bunch. So like I also have like a mini set at home, and I have other cars over in the back row.
And do you like to play by yourself or with other people?
Sometimes with my myself or sometimes with other people. I have a couple cars I'm going to show you. This one I called the X-Rider. This one I called 32. This one I called the Big Bus Blue. And I drew Big Bus. This one is 42. And I call this one the Fire. Flame. Flame.
Can anybody play with cars?
Anybody who can play with cars, no matter if you're a boy or a girl.
That was wonderful, Nolan, and the perfect segue to our time for prayer and joys and sorrows. We set this time aside for deep sharing of our hearts and for prayer and meditation. If you have a sorrow that you need witness or help with, or a joy you wish to share, please contribute to our collective sharing of joys and sorrows to be read each Sunday here from the pulpit. During the week, you can email us at joysandconcerns@orlandouu.org. If you're attending in person, you can fill out a card at the welcoming table, and the ushers, our welcomers, make sure that we receive them up here. And we also offer you the opportunity to silently light a candle for whatever you wish to continue to hold in your heart. So bring your joys, your sorrows as we come together. Come just as you are, because your whole self is welcome here in this sacred space we are creating together. We have the flowers here. They are from Catherine Vaccaro as thanks from Emily for all the support after her fall. And Emmy Collins. I think I said Emily, did I? Emmy Collins, so sorry, Emmy. Just after I was reminded to call people by their names. And I know Emmy's here today. And we also have a message from Bev telling us that on Tuesday, August 27th, I will have a surgical procedure. Thank you, Nolan. Bev Alec will have a surgical procedure to fix the problem that put her in the hospital a couple of weeks ago. Your prayers and healing thoughts are much appreciated, and she looks forward to being back in church in a couple of weeks. And she also said, thank you for your love, well wishes, and support. And from Emmy Collins, thank you all for your supportive good wishes in the past few weeks since I launched myself onto a downstairs sidewalk and injured my knees and hands. Warmest shout outs to Catherine Vaccaro, Steph Garber, Colleen Winderhold, Shanna Thomas, Ray Winderhold, and Tess Yonker. And thank you to the tech team for enabling for enabling virtual participation in One You services. Thank you, thank you. And thank you for working so hard today, especially today. And we have this note from Elizabeth. She didn't add her name, so I didn't know if she wanted to be anonymous. That says, thank you, thank you, thank you to the P&O, that is Parent Nights Out volunteers who provide a monthly parent night out to our community, coordinated by Joan and Jim Irwin. It is a delight to witness our children forming stronger bonds with one another and across generations. And it's so fun to run into fellow parents, giddy with excitement, dressed up for a night out, relieved for a reprieve from the daily stressors of parenting. Thank you for being our village. Thank you. We have much to be thankful for in our community here, and we hold our Orlando families in love, in our communities with care, and the world with our compassion by acting for justice in all the small and large ways that will move the arc of justice. And for all the joys and sorrows of this community shared, and those that remain close to our hearts, let us pray, let us celebrate, and let us send one another healing energy. And I will now invite us to come forward and light a candle. And as you come up, if you would do so in a meditative way, and whatever you're holding on your heart, know that this community is able and very willing to hold it with you. The first candle we will light for those attending online, and we will light a last one for all the things that were not said. So come forward as you are willing and able to light a candle.
voice still and small, deep inside all, I hear you call, singing. In dark and rain, sorrow and pain, still will remain singing, calming my fears, quenching my tears, through all the years, singing.
All right, our next soapboxer is Bob Ledger.
Okay. My main concern over the last few years is the state of the insurance industry in Florida. And I'm sure I'm not the only one. My saga started April of last year, April of 23, got my renewal, and it had almost doubled, over $10,000 a year. That included 2 cars, too. So I called them and I says, why is this? Well, my roof is too old. I says, well, it's 11 years old, but it's in great shape. That doesn't matter. So I get a new roof. April of this year, I get my renewal. It's back up over $10,000 again. I call them this time. What's the problem? Oh, you need a wind mitigation now. Okay, I pay for that. And it did drop, but not by much. So I'm kind of worried about next April. I did speak with a few roofers, and this is a very, very common situation for a lot of people. Well, on one hand, I'm really grateful to have a nice home, but I would be much more grateful if our elected leaders would get a handle on this situation. Thank you.
You all are keeping time, which is making, you're not letting poor Nolan here have any fun. But okay, so our next speaker is Greg Buckingham.
All right, I have 2 things on my mind. First, I want to let you know that the new Board of Trustees has met twice so far this year. And we had our annual retreat and accomplished our goals, I think, of getting to know each other, developing a covenant about how we'll work together, and establishing some goals for the year. We have 3 goals. One of those is to monitor the implementation of the strategic plan. The second is to engage the congregation a bit more in conversation, so please watch those conversations with the board, and if that's something you usually ignore, you might want to drop in, and we're going to try and enhance those and change those a bit. And our third is to conduct a census of First Unitarians so we know more about our members. So I think the board is right where we should be at right now. We're getting to know each other, everybody's engaged, and everybody's involved. Topic 2, completely different. I am working on a RE class this fall, adult RE, and I'm looking for people who are hikers, walkers, and campers. Whether you've hiked the Appalachian Trail or you've hiked a pretty little urban trail in Orlando, I would like if you could email me or catch me at social hour and talk to me about that. You will not have to plan anything. Is that it? All right.
You may have noticed I haven't been saying the topics. I figured I'd let folks go ahead and introduce. And our next speaker is Catherine Vaccaro.
Last year, I spoke about the need for death with dignity laws here in the US. I've since published a book advocating for that individual right, so you know I'm serious about it. This time, I'd like to widen the topic to death itself. It's a word we shy away from. Many of us prefer the euphemism passed away, even in obituaries and memorial services. I personally find passed away grating. In a congregation that skews as old as ours, we really should not be afraid to tackle the reality that we're all going to die. Even the atheists among us who reject the pearly gates and that air-conditioned corner bar in hell that my mom used to joke that she'd run have to deal with this existential question. She was quite a lady. One of my favorite takes comes from fantasy master Terry Pratchett, who ended his own life when he developed dementia. Pratchett's take on death speaks in all caps, employs deadpan humor, and rides a real white horse, sweetly named Binky. Here's one of his best quotes. Oh. All right, you'll have to see me for the quote.
Well, great job, Nolan. We'll have to get that quote from you some other time. And our next speaker is Steph Garber.
When I was growing up, my parents constantly would correct our grammar. I hated it at the time, but I'm so thankful now. But there's one thing that really bothers me, and I just want to mention it here, because if I hear it again, I may go over the edge. The definition of the word unique, being the only one of its kind, unlike anything else. Okay, that means one. There's no such thing as very unique, sort of unique, somewhat unique, almost unique. None of those apply. Please don't use those around me because I just can't afford the additional stress, especially in an election year.
Okay, so we're going to have Rhonda uniquely come forward and speak. Go. Ah, there you go.
All right, Aubrey, get ready. You can uniquely buzz me because I know I'm going to outdo Nolan here. That's just, you know. All right, let's see. Skipping the intro to get main to the point. Teachers do not have the power to bring about change in schools. Neither do assistant principals or principals. Parents have more because schools work on a customer service mentality. But the most power to change schools comes from school boards. If you are justice-minded and truly want to help your school system, then you need to run for the school board. You don't need educational training and educational background to be on the school board. All the training that you need is given to you once you get there. You can be retired, a job with flexible hours. By the way, in Orange County, school board members get paid. They get paid $56,000, which is more than the teachers in Orange County get paid. School board members hire the superintendent who makes the decisions. Ron DeSantis knows this. That's why he's tried to handpick school board members in the last 2 elections. Run for school board.
Libby Jackson, coming up.
Oops. I would like to say this is not covering today's service, which is not our norm. Good morning. The sanctuary is a spiritual place for many of us during normal church services. When you are moved by a wonderful rendition from the choir, or Aubrey singing, or a heartfelt sermon, how do you react? I would ask you to reflect on your personal relationship with applause. To acknowledge music, song, or a heartfelt sermon. When music touches your heart, you may be moved, perhaps almost automatically, to applaud. That's good for you. However, if that same music touches your heart and you applaud just because somebody else is applauding, then maybe you shouldn't applaud. Just honor the quiet, spiritual moment for yourself in your own way. And for those who don't like applause in the sanctuary, open your hearts to the fact that maybe it's important for others to applaud because they really need to. For those who applaud, ask yourself if you really need to do it, or could you share the quiet space with those who prefer silence. Reverend Rebecca Finkelstein, let us reflect, to applaud or not to applaud.
David Shine, you're next.
So for as long as I've been coming to this church, like 20 plus years, we've been talking about growth. We need to get more butts in the pews. We need to get members signing the book. We need to increase pledges. That's not how you should measure the growth of a church. The growth of a church should be measured by the impact it makes on the society, on the community, and on its congregants, and especially its little ones. Now, I don't have any ideas on how to do that. We do it already, and I'm not saying we don't do it. We need to do more. And I can't tell you how, and I also can't tell you how to measure those things. All I know is that if you focus on those things, the rest of the growth will follow. Thank you.
Griff, you're next. Griff, I'm looking for you over there. Green is next.
GazaFunds.com. If I had 100 times this 2 minutes, I would not be able to scratch the surface of the horrors and the tragedies that we've seen coming out of Gaza and out of Rafah. We know that traditional charities are foundering, aid workers being stopped under false accusations of terrorism. Meanwhile, people are still dying of malnutrition, of exposure, of being caught in the crossfire of untreated medical needs. For many of these people, the only hope they have to save themselves, their children, their parents, their siblings, their spouses, is to get out. That has its own problems. The crossing into Egypt can cost thousands of dollars per person, and these people have lost everything. That is where GazaFunds.com comes in. These are individual fundraisers for individual families trying to survive, trying to get out, mostly organized by family members outside of the country who have better internet access. They are vetted by diaspora Palestinians to weed out scams. They are safe. They are known to be safe. You have all heard the starfish parable. Like the child on the seashore, we cannot single-handedly stop this conflict. We cannot save every person who is in danger, but every fundraiser that hits its goal is a family that lives, and we can make a difference to them. Thank you.
Thank you, Griff. And our last speaker is Elizabeth Horn.
Wow, you look so great. Have you lost weight? Oh, I really shouldn't. I've been so good. These comments might seem innocuous enough, but how does diet culture weigh in against our UU principles? 6 thoughts. 1, society teaches us that thin equals healthy, but a person's weight loss could be the result of an eating disorder, addiction, sickness, stress, or grief. 2, if it is intentional weight loss, commenting on it still places emphasis on a thin ideal. And even for naturally thin people, commenting on their weight ties it to their status within our society. Does that person's value change if their size does? 3, our children hear us. 4, speaking of, we teach our children that bodies are private. Let's expand conversations around uninvited touch to include uninvited comments. 5, the history of the thin ideal is steeped in racism, classism, sexism, ableism, and heteronormativity. If we as a congregation want to widen our welcome, we should examine the unearned privileges of thin people and the daily marginalizations of people in larger bodies. Number 6, the U.S. weight loss and diet industry is worth $75 billion. That's billion with a B. We are padding the pockets of mega corporations with our complicity. So how does diet culture align with UU principles? It doesn't. If you're having a hard time digesting my message, that's okay. We've all been swimming in the same soup. But please join me in taking a big spoonful of soup, no calories counted, as we work together to dismantle diet culture as a congregation, one bite at a time. Thank you.
Wow, thank you everyone for taking this so seriously and really speaking to some very serious issues and some light ones in the world. And thank you so much. And I ask you now to join me in singing our closing hymn, number 34. And remember, we do have hymnals. Though I may speak with bravest fire. So, please rise in body or spirit.
Though I may speak with bravest fire and have the gift to all inspire, and have not love, my words are vain as sounding brass and hopeless gain. Though I may give all I possess, and striving so my love profess, but not begin
was clear that your words were certainly moved by love, which is what's at the center of our faith, right? So you were cheered by our community, blessed by our covenant, uplifted in mind and renewed in spirit. Go forth with courage and peace to meet the days to come. Amen. Reverend Carly. Beloveds, worship has ended, and now the service truly begins. As you know, we have an extremely, from my perspective, election coming up. So participate in the process as you are able. So I would say, if you're not in the willing part yet, if you could sum up some willingness, and as you are able to participate in our democracy. So.
Please say these words with me as we extinguish the chalice. We extinguish the flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.